Hello, Zenith women, and welcome to your favorite Sigma female channel. Sometimes the strongest people are the ones who walk away in silence. They're not looking for applause, they're just reclaiming their peace. In a world where social energy is treated like an endless resource, Sigma females know the value of boundaries better than most. They're the lone wolves in a society that expects them to run with the pack, preferring selective connections over empty pleasantries and unapologetically hitting cold switch when things go south. While the average person might panic at the thought of going off-grid or ghosting a social circle, the Sigma female thrives in it, seeing withdrawal as an art form, not a social faux pas. In fact, did you know that introverts recharge alone because social interaction can drain their energy? Now imagine an introvert who is also fiercely independent. And you've got the Sigma female, a woman who can go from warm and open to ice cold with a switch as quick as a flash, not out of cruelty, but out of clarity. So, why does this mysterious cold switch happen, and what drives it? Here's where things get interesting. Let's dive deep into the unapologetic psyche of Sigma females and explore the lesser-known reasons they choose to detach, often without looking back. Get ready to uncover why they might leave without notice, and why they'll be just fine if you don't understand. Number 1. Refusal to be pigeonholed. Sigma females have a deep resistance to being put in a box. They're the type who cringe at the thought of being labeled, categorized, or shoved into someone else's idea of who they should be. To a Sigma, there's nothing worse than feeling confined, especially when that confinement comes from other people's assumptions or expectations. The moment someone tries to turn them into the supportive friend, the nurturing partner, or the reliable one, they feel the urge to push back. And if the pressure continues, that's when they hit the cold switch. This resistance doesn't come from rebellion for the sake of rebellion. It's a defense of their identity. Sigma females prize their freedom to evolve, adapt, and redefine themselves as they see fit. They don't want to be cast in a role just to make someone else comfortable. It's like asking a chameleon to pick one color and stick with it. It just doesn't work. A Sigma would rather walk away and deal with the cold reputation than stay in a relationship or environment that limits her. What's particularly funny and frustrating for others is that a Sigma female won't usually argue about it. She won't waste her time defending her choices or justifying why she doesn't want to fit a mold. She'll just quietly detach, leaving others scratching their heads. In her mind, her values and sense of self are non-negotiable. So if someone tries to define her, she's already halfway out the door thinking, I'd rather be misunderstood than misrepresented. And that's the essence of the Sigma female's cold switch. It's not a tantrum or a dramatic exit. It's simply her saying, thanks, but no thanks. I'll define myself, and if that's inconvenient, feel free to watch the door close behind me. Number 2, guarding their limited energy. For Sigma females, energy is a precious and limited resource. Think of it as their own personal battery life. They don't have time to waste on draining or surface-level interactions, and they can't stand the thought of endlessly recharging from the toll of unnecessary social demands. When people begin to pull at their time, ask for more than they're willing to give, or simply become exhausting to be around, Sigma females don't hesitate to cold switch as a form of self-preservation. Their approach is simple. Conserve energy for things that truly matter. While some people thrive on a packed social calendar and constant connections, Sigmas see this as the ultimate drain. Small talk, soul-sucking, endless gatherings, depleting drama, a one-way ticket to mental exhaustion. They'd rather invest their energy in something meaningful, a deep conversation with someone they trust, a project they're passionate about, or simply a quiet night alone with their thoughts. Anything that feels like a social transaction just isn't worth the price to them. And when they're forced to endure these energy-sapping interactions, they start mentally tallying up the cost. That's why they might seem to vanish out of nowhere. They've likely been calculating just how much longer they can handle being around certain people before they need to unplug entirely. It's not about being rude, it's about being realistic. If they feel drained by you, they're simply going to step back, no dramatic announcement necessary. In a way, it's as if they're operating on a power-saving mode, and like your phone, they've got no problem switching off apps or people that drain too much of their battery. So when a Sigma female goes quiet, it's not a mystery. It's maintenance. She's just conserving energy, and if that means going cold for a while, so be it. Number 3. Selective about emotional investment. Sigma. Females don't hand out their emotional energy freely. For them, relationships are like investments. They want to put in effort where they know it'll bring real value. They're not cold-hearted, they simply don't believe in pouring their emotions into people or situations that aren't going to give anything meaningful back. This doesn't mean they're selfish, they just know the difference between genuine connection and emotional freeloaders. If someone's only around to take without offering depth in return, that's the kind of investment they're quick to drop. When they interact, they're not looking for shallow exchanges or half-hearted support. If they're going to be there for you, they'll be there with everything they've got. But if they sense that the relationship is one-sided or doesn't have real potential for growth, they'll cold switch without hesitation. They don't do drama or demand explanations. They just step back, choosing to save their emotions for people who show up with the same level of honesty and commitment. It's not about cutting people off for the sake of it. It's about protecting their own peace. For a Sigma, every connection should add something real to their life, whether it's deep conversation, shared goals, or just mutual respect. Anything less feels like an emotional tax they're simply not willing to pay. And if that means letting go of people who don't add true value, they'll do it without guilt. Think of it as their own version of quality over quantity. Sigma females don't want a crowd of people around them. They want a solid inner circle that truly matters. So, when they cold switch, it's not an act of cruelty. It's a conscious choice to reserve their energy for those rare, real connections worth holding on to. And honestly, they're okay if that makes them seem a little cold to those on the outside. Number 4. A reaction to disingenuous behavior. Sigma. Females have a sixth sense for inauthenticity. They can spot fake smiles, manipulative compliments, and subtle mind games like they have a radar tuned to dishonesty. To them, nothing is more frustrating than people who say one thing, but mean another, or those who use kindness as a tool for control. They're hyper-aware of these subtle cues and don't hesitate to cold switch when they sense manipulation lurking beneath the surface. For a Sigma female, honesty is sacred. She's not interested in small talk designed to gain leverage or friendships built on flattery. The moment she senses a hidden agenda or feels someone is trying to play her, she will retreat without a second thought. Unlike some who might confront or try to fix the situation, a Sigma doesn't waste her energy on people who refuse to show their true colors. She has no interest in untangling someone else's intentions or deciphering mind games. She'd rather disconnect and refocus on people who value genuine interaction. This tendency to cold switch isn't about being overly cautious or dramatic. It's a defense mechanism. Sigma females value their peace and mental clarity, and they know that manipulative relationships are an exhausting drain on both. By walking away, they protect their well-being and maintain control over their emotional world. Some might see this approach as overly intense, but for a Sigma female, it's just smart. Why endure toxic behavior or play along in social games when she can simply exit? If she seems harsh in her decision to cold switch, it's only because she values her time and energy too much to waste them on dishonesty. In her world, honesty is a non-negotiable, so if someone can't bring that, they shouldn't expect her to stick around. Number 5. Obsessed with personal growth. Sigma. Females are on a constant journey of self-improvement. To them, personal growth isn't a phase or a hobby, it's a way of life. They're always looking for ways to expand their skills, deepen their understanding, and become better versions of themselves. So, when they find themselves in relationships that feel stagnant, or worse, hold them back, they'll cold switch without hesitation. They simply can't afford to have anyone or anything interfere with their forward momentum. For a Sigma female, nothing is more frustrating than feeling stuck. She has high standards for herself, and holds those around her to a similar expectation. This doesn't mean she expects perfection from others. Rather, she needs people who are equally passionate about growth. If she finds that a relationship, friendship, or even a job is pulling her backward, whether it's through constant negativity, lack of ambition, or a refusal to change, she knows it's time to step away. The cold switch in this case isn't out of cruelty, it's out of necessity. Sigma females know that personal evolution often requires tough choices, and they won't stay in a situation that threatens their progress just to keep others comfortable. Detaching allows them to refocus their energy on pursuits that align with their ambitions. They'd rather stand alone and evolve than remain surrounded by people who hold them back. To an outsider, this might seem intense or even ruthless, but to a Sigma, it's simple logic. She's driven by a relentless pursuit of growth, and she's not willing to compromise that for anyone. Her cold switch is a signal that she's choosing herself, choosing to keep pushing forward, to keep learning, and to keep improving. In her world, growth is a priority, and if someone can't match that energy, she'll move on without looking back. Number 6. Silently calculative in relationships. Sigma. Females approach relationships with a quiet, strategic mindset. Unlike people who dive into connections purely on emotion, Sigmas are always analyzing the dynamics around them. They value quality over quantity and prefer a handful of meaningful connections over a large, superficial social circle. When they sense that a relationship isn't adding value, or worse, that it's starting to weigh on their peace, they'll make a calculated decision to cold switch, sometimes with startling abruptness. This isn't about being heartless, it's about self-preservation. To a Sigma female, every relationship should have a purpose, whether it's mutual support, inspiration, or genuine companionship. If they begin to sense that a connection is one-sided, manipulative, or just draining, they'll mentally evaluate the situation from a practical perspective. This logical approach can make them seem unfeeling to those on the outside, but it's actually quite the opposite. Sigma females take their connections seriously, which is why they're willing to let go of anything that no longer aligns with their values or goals. When they do decide to cold switch, there's rarely a big confrontation or dramatic exit. Sigmas prefer a quiet, no-fuss departure, leaving others to wonder what happened. To them, explaining themselves is often pointless. If they've chosen to detach, it means they've already assessed the relationship's worth and found it lacking. While some might interpret this as sudden or even harsh, Sigma females see it as clarity. Why stay in a situation that's ultimately taking more than it's giving? So when a Sigma female disappears, it's not a mystery. It's a carefully considered choice. Her cold switch isn't an emotional outburst, but a rational decision, a way of protecting her peace without compromising her values. If the connection wasn't bringing real value, she's more than ready to let it go, and she won't lose sleep over it. Number 7. Avoiding surface-level drama. Sigma. Females have zero tolerance for surface-level drama. Gossip, petty squabbles, and trivial conflicts don't just bore them, they drain them. To a Sigma, this kind of drama feels like the ultimate waste of time and energy, a distraction from things that actually matter. She's focused on adding value to her life, whether through personal growth, meaningful relationships, or creative pursuits. So when others try to drag her into needless conflict, she has one answer: cold switch. It's not that Sigma females are emotionless, they simply value their peace of mind far more than the temporary thrill of drama. While some people might find excitement in stirring the pot or keeping up with the latest gossip, Sigmas find it exhausting. They see it as an unnecessary distraction that takes them away from what they truly care about. And if they feel their energy being pulled into someone else's emotional chaos, they'll shut down completely, detaching without hesitation. What makes this even more intriguing is the quiet, almost surgical way they disengage. Sigma females don't make a big scene or announce their exit. They just calmly detach and redirect their focus elsewhere. It's not about superiority or judgment. It's about protecting their own mental space. For them, life is too short to spend on trivial conflicts or people who thrive on chaos. They'd rather put their energy towards something constructive than feed into pointless drama. And let's be real, they don't lose sleep over it. If someone calls them cold for refusing to engage, that's a label they'll happily accept. In a world where so many get wrapped up in the latest controversy, Sigma females prefer to stay above it, choosing clarity and peace over the endless cycle of drama. Number 8. Mindful of emotional manipulators. Sigma. Females have a finely tuned radar for emotional manipulation. They can spot tactics like guilt-tripping, love-bombing, or gaslighting from a mile away, and once they sense that someone is trying to play with their feelings, it triggers an instant cold switch. For them, emotional safety is paramount, and they refuse to tolerate any relationship that feels toxic or coercive. They know that these manipulative behaviors are not just annoying, they're potentially damaging, and they'd rather disengage than navigate the emotional minefield that comes with them. The moment a Sigma female detects emotional manipulation, it's like a light switch flicks in her mind. She won't waste time analyzing the situation or hoping for change. Instead, she'll prioritize her well-being by stepping back immediately. This instinctual reaction isn't about being overly dramatic. It's a survival mechanism. Sigmas understand that emotional manipulators thrive on uncertainty and vulnerability, and they have no intention of being someone's pawn in a game they didn't sign up for. To those on the receiving end, this cold switch might seem sudden or even harsh. One moment there's an engaging conversation, and the next, the Sigma has retreated behind an emotional wall. But for her, this decision is rooted in self-preservation. She's seen enough to know that trying to engage with manipulators only leads to emotional turmoil and wasted energy. Instead of enduring mind games or trying to prove her worth, Sigma females choose to withdraw and protect their peace. They'd rather be alone than entangled in the drama of someone who seeks to control or guilt them. Emotional manipulators can't thrive in a space where they have no audience. Once the Sigma steps away, their power diminishes significantly. In a world where emotional safety can feel fragile, Sigma females stand firm, prioritizing their mental health above all else. Number 9. Driven by self-mastery. Sigma females are relentless in their pursuit of self-mastery. They're driven by an insatiable desire to understand themselves at a deeper level, constantly seeking personal growth and self-awareness. Unlike many who feel compelled to navigate the expectations and drama of others, Sigma females prioritize their own journey, recognizing that true power lies in mastering oneself rather than trying to control or please others. When they feel the pressure of someone else's expectations weighing them down, they cold switch as a way to regain their focus and autonomy. This cold switch isn't just a reaction, it's a strategic move to preserve their energy for what truly matters. Sigma females know that getting caught up in another person's drama or demands can easily derail their progress. They're not interested in being sidetracked by someone else's insecurities or emotional baggage. Instead, they'd rather retreat and re-center themselves, ensuring that they remain in control of their own narrative. When they sense that a relationship is veering into the territory of expectation or obligation, their instinct is to disengage. This allows them to sidestep the potential chaos and maintain clarity in their own goals. In a world where many people seem to thrive on external validation or drama, Sigma females stand apart, focusing instead on what makes them tick. They understand that true fulfillment comes from within and that the journey towards self-mastery requires unwavering commitment to their own path. While others may view their cold switching as aloof or even dismissive, Sigma females see it as a necessary act of self-care. They recognize that they can't pour from an empty cup, and allowing someone else's issues to dominate their time and energy only leads to stagnation. In the end, their commitment to self-mastery means they will always choose their personal evolution over the distractions of the outside world. It's not that they don't care. They simply understand that the most important relationship they have is the one with themselves. Number 10. Not afraid to break patterns. Sigma. Females are unapologetically unafraid to break free from patterns that no longer serve them. They thrive on fluidity and change, viewing relationships as evolving entities that should grow and adapt. When a connection starts to feel toxic or slides into a mundane routine, they don't hesitate to cold switch, choosing to walk away rather than endure a stagnant or harmful dynamic. For them, life is too precious to waste in relationships that have turned into tedious cycles or emotional traps. This willingness to break patterns stems from their deep understanding of self-worth and autonomy. Sigma females value their freedom and know that staying in a toxic relationship can be a slippery slope into complacency. They refuse to become stuck in a loop of negativity or monotony. Instead of waiting for things to improve or trying to fix what's broken, they take decisive action. This may come across as sudden or even shocking to those around them, but for a Sigma, it's a logical step toward reclaiming their peace and purpose. They're not just breaking free for the sake of change, they're actively seeking environments and relationships that promote growth and positivity. A Sigma female sees herself as the architect of her life, and she won't allow anyone or anything to dictate her happiness. If a relationship feels like an anchor dragging her down, she'll cut the rope and swim toward clearer waters. What's particularly remarkable is their ability to detach without drama or prolonged discussions. They don't engage in lengthy explanations or justifications for their choices. They simply make the call and move on. This clarity can be unsettling for those who are used to fighting for relationships or dragging out conflicts. But for a Sigma, there's no room for hesitation. They recognize that patterns can become traps, and they'd rather step out of a relationship that confines them than lose their sense of self. In their quest for freedom and authenticity, they are fierce, resolute, and always willing to embrace the unknown. If you've enjoyed delving into the empowering qualities of Sigma females, we invite you to join our community. Subscribe to our channel for more insightful discussions and empowering content that inspires personal growth and self-discovery. Together, let's celebrate individuality and the journey of self-mastery. Hit that subscribe button and embark on this exciting journey with us. Your path to empowerment starts here. Thanks for watching and bye.